Good afternoon, everyone. We will start right at 4 o'clock, so if you can move to your seats, that would be great. We're not starting yet. We'll start at 4 o'clock. Move to your seats. Thanks.
You must be Ben. I'm Dave. So we're going to be basically. Yeah, I'll try. Try to keep it very close. You're going to hand.
Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Ben Temple, and I'm the head of the upper school. And today, I have the honor and the privilege of guiding you through the ceremony. The 2022 commencement ceremony is about to begin. Please take your seats as the Francis Parker School trustees and faculty prepare to enter. The class of 2022 holds a special place in the hearts of the trustees and the faculty. These students persevered in the most unusual of circumstances. Their dedication and grace were just the combination of attributes we needed this year. This past Thursday, the class of 2022 gathered for the senior celebration. We heard speeches from Jesse Smith, our salutatorian, and Mr. Hurley, the Dean of College Counseling, who reflected on some of the wonderful experiences we've had with the class of 2022. This is a special group of students indeed. Yesterday, we recognized academic accomplishments and honored students for their commitment to the values of the school, the Parker community, and the larger community as a whole. You might notice that some students are wearing a variety of honor cords today. They are members of prestigious honor societies. Those are visible awards. However, after getting to know these graduates, I can assure you that they have all worked tremendously hard and are deserving of the many honors they received this year. We are so proud of our scholars, artists, and athletes. Thank you for allowing us to be part of the lives of these remarkable students. We have thoroughly enjoyed our time with the class of 2022. And this afternoon, we continue to celebrate the class of 2022, our talented, hardworking, and passionate seniors. And now, we begin our ceremony. Trustees and faculty, we thank you for all you do for our community. You may be seated. Before our graduates enter, I would like to ask your help to allow us to record today's event for all to enjoy. The ceremony is being live streamed as well as recorded. We also have professional photographers on hand to capture the moment when students receive their diplomas. So please keep aisles clear to avoid obstructing the view of cameras. And now, we welcome the class of 2022 as they make their way across campus led by Mr. Paul Esch, Grade 12 Dean. Graduates, you may be seated. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Parker's head of school, Kevin Yaley.
Oh, we made it. Barely, but we made it. I want to begin, first of all, by acknowledging a couple of our classmates, members of the class of 2022, who, no fault of their own, can't be here physically with us this afternoon, but they are here in spirit, and we will celebrate them even though they cannot be with us. So good afternoon to everybody, members of the Board of Trustees, esteemed faculty and staff, families and friends of the soon-to-be graduates, our commencement speaker, Landon Donovan, and most especially, members of Parker's class of 2022. Welcome to what promises to be an absolutely wonderful celebration of you. And as your head of school, it is my honor to be able to participate on this very special occasion. Family. Arguably, nothing matters more. Family. It's the oil that eases our friction, the glue that binds us together, the music that brings us harmony. Family. It is one of nature's greatest masterpieces, a living, breathing confluence of all that truly matters. Yet there's no one fixed definition of family, unambiguous and clear-cut. Rather, every expression of family, every experience of family, every family unit, network, fraternity, or clan, every blood family, friend family, pet family, or extended family, every family tree, family garden, family shrub, or some wonderfully and uniquely beautiful combination therein. One thing is for certain. Your family and all your families, no matter how you may define them, are perfectly imperfect. And over time, our families will inevitably change. Our families will grow. Our families will transform, remodel, and renovate into various shapes, sizes, and structures. Our families will challenge us and we them. They will push us away just as quickly as they will pull us back with a love that is ceaselessly unconditional. And, above all else, our families, all of our families, will forever love us and embrace us and accept us just as we are, and we will do the same to them. Now, the beauty of life is that as it continues to unfold, much as it is doing right here and now on this very special day, is that life provides us opportunities to become part of new families. And today, each member of the class of 2022 will formally become part of a new family that will never replace their past, current, or future families, but rather add to the tapestry and the beauty. And this new family that you will be joining today is unique in that while the family members are spread far and wide in terms of age and geography, profession and identity, they are forever bonded together by their shared experience here at Parker. And when you bump into that family member you never knew you had while riding a subway in New York, taking your child to the first day of camp, introducing yourself to a new colleague at work, or grabbing a Starbucks somewhere down in Florida, the moment you discover, hey, you went to Parker? So did I. You will instantly feel at home once again in the presence of a member of your Parker family, no matter how far away you might be from this place we gather today. And so right now, students, I want to introduce you to Parker. I want to introduce you to a few members of your new family. So I would ask, and I know who you are, I would ask anybody here who graduated from Parker in the 60s, 70s, or 80s, please stand up. You know who you are, and so do I. Please stand up. Please stand up. Stay standing. Stay standing. Mr. Silberman, you need to stand. Stay standing. Could I ask now those of us who graduated in the 90s, let's see the 90s, stand up, please join them. Everyone stay standing. How about the 2000s? Where are you, 2000s? We know you're here. How about the 2010s? Stand up 2010s. Here come all the siblings. All right. And of course, where's our 2020 graduates and our 2021 graduates? There they are. Stay standing, stay standing. I want these guys to take a look around because I want you to meet new members of your family. They're going to be with you always and forever, and there's so many more, and now that we're over 4,000 strong. It's a family that will always be there for you and will forever welcome you home. Thanks to all the members of the Parker family. You may be seated. Speaking of the Parker family, just about an hour ago, I had the very distinct pleasure of joining Noel Coury Ludwig, Parker's class of 1991, in presenting Jeff Silberman, Parker's class of 1975, with the Distinguished Alumni Award. It is the highest honor bestowed on any member of Parker's alumni family, and he is only the fourth recipient of this distinguished award. And so, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to all of you the newest member of your family and Parker's distinguished alumni, Mr. Jeff Silberman. Jeff?
Good afternoon. Thank you so much, Kevin. It's wonderful to see everyone at this celebration of the class of 2022. Congratulations, graduates. I am truly honored and was quite surprised to receive the Distinguished Alumni Award. I have been so fortunate to have a lifelong connection with Parker over the last 60 years. I know I look younger. Starting as a kindergarten student, athlete before we had a three-point line, volunteer and donor with my wife Karen, trustee, sibling, uncle, parent, and grandparent of Parker students. And in 1970, I visited this upper school campus for the first time with my 93-year-old dad, hi Dad, and other parents who helped the school acquire this site for our middle and high schools. As I reflected on this wonderful honor, I realized that in addition to receiving the amazing Parker education, perhaps the greatest gifts were my lifelong friendships that were formed at Parker with fellow students, faculty, members of the administration, and trustees. 60 years later, I still have many close, lifelong Parker friends, some of whom are here today. Pat Flynn, hiding over there with Mary Brown, and Jay Calais, and of course, as I mentioned, my favorite teacher, Mary Brown, who gave me, yay, Mary, Mary Brown, who gave me a C in citizenship in 6th grade for being a class clown and almost prevented me from being here today. My parents, especially my father, did not think this was funny. Thanks to our head of school, and after many years of my community service to Parker and a great deal of repentance, my 6th grade report card was modified to reflect an A in citizenship. So dreams can become a reality at Parker. And there is the A on top of the C. I'm a little bit irritated because I noticed on my straight A report card, which now has an A in citizenship instead of the C, I just noticed, Mary, you gave me a B in citizenship, which I really don't appreciate. As you think about your own Parker stories and journey and look at all of your social media filled with Parker friends, I hope you too will remember the importance and value of the Parker family and these lifelong connections. It is these friendships created at Parker that have been an important source of comfort, guidance, and inspiration in my life, and continue to keep me close to my Parker family. I hope you will take a moment today as you reflect on your incredible accomplishments as Parker graduates and the gratitude you have for your families, to also think about those important Parker relationships and make a commitment to maintain that incredible gift of connection. Although it may sound a bit cliche, Parker has always been a part of my extended family and further motivated our family to continue to give back for all we have received from Parker. Among the many lessons instilled from my Parker life, perhaps the most important is that through community service and philanthropy, we extend the best of ourselves, our time, our talent, and our treasure to impact others and to change the world. This concept is embedded in the core of Parker, which has an extraordinary culture of service to others and is exemplified by each of you graduates who have participated in community service and perhaps most importantly, have been a good friend. Today, 60 years later, from my first day on the lower school campus, I'm honored to be a part of the Parker family that joins together to make the world better for others. We're all partners in this journey, thanks to the gifts and values we receive from Parker. I hope all of you will continue to create your own Parker legacies through service, leadership, and most importantly, your continued Parker friendships. I'm humbled by this incredible award. Thank you for embracing me as part of our amazing Parker family.
Thank you so much, Mr. Silberman. There are many standout students in the class of 2022. At this time, we recognize the student who has earned the top ranking for academic achievement. The next speaker has distinguished himself by his intellectual curiosity and strength of character throughout his time here at Parker. We welcome class valedictorian Simon Britton.
Class of 2022.
Simon is unable to be with us in person today. We'll watch his remarks.
Video format may trigger to the past few years of online schooling. I think it's safe to say that COVID perhaps wasn't the graduation gift my father had intended to give me this year. Nevertheless, let us all take a moment to thank the healthcare personnel that have been working so tirelessly to reunite parents with their children, spouses with their other halves, and loved ones with their families. They're our saviors on earth, and it's unacceptable that it took a worldwide pandemic for us to see that. May they never be taken for granted again. To start, I'd like to talk about the most meaningful assignment I've ever completed. At the end of last year, Mr. Harrington requested that I write a rough draft of my main common application essay. In 650 words or less, but let's be honest here, when have I ever been known for choosing less? I was supposed to condense an integral aspect of my life into a single digestible package, to be dissected and analyzed and judged by the man behind the college admissions curtain. Like the sappy teenage romantic I am, I chose to talk about love. But strangely enough, I found myself unable to address it with the same poise as Shakespeare in his sonnets, or the same lightheartedness as the young adult novels I had read. When I finally looked inward to decipher the source of this block, all I saw was a murky sludge of feelings I had refused to deal with over the years, left to run together like watercolors in the hands of my 3-year-old self. And so, bit by bit, I made it my mission to unscramble this tangled mess of emotions and see what lessons I could glean from the process. My first lesson about love came from 4th grade, when I realized that love could die. My sister and I watched our parents' marriage disintegrate, 2 loving people who no longer loved each other, and our sense of fundamental trust in the world shattered with it. A similar story played out with my love for piano, when I was urged to compete in competitions that ratcheted my stress to unhealthy levels. Love isn't the invincible superhero we often portray it as. It has its kryptonite, and sometimes that kryptonite wins. But the opposite can happen, too. Over the past 3 years, my time playing violin for Lancer Orchestra has rekindled my love for music, and that passion reignited my desire to play piano. And in 9th grade, I watched love blossom between two of my best friends, and for the first time, I witnessed its ability to bring goofy grins to people's faces, and its incomparable ability to heal both mental and physical wounds. How else could their metatarsals have remained intact after playing so much footsie underneath Mr. Gass's desks? What can I say? Teenagers are weird, and teenagers in love are even weirder. My second lesson about love is from 8th grade, when I learned that love is a privilege. I've known that I'm gay since elementary school, and for a long time that scared me. It took me 3 years of pining to ask my first crush out, so when I was gently rejected on Discovery Week, I was, well, crushed. But not long after, I realized just how much worse that interaction could have gone if I wasn't born into a community that was so accepting of my sexual orientation, if I wasn't surrounded by people who loved me unconditionally. The anxiety I felt in that moment was so all-consuming, and yet it couldn't hold a candle to the terrors that other LGBTQIA youth face on a daily basis. For something so often hailed as a universal emotion, it's astounding how inconsistent and exclusionary protections are for love. I can't help but remember an incident at a summer camp before 7th grade when someone told me that they had nothing against being gay, as long as I didn't go parading it in their face. Not being able to show my love made me feel that I deserved the box I'd been given, that it was my job to preserve others' sense of respectability and propriety. This sentiment soon generalized to other aspects of my life, and in 10th grade, I found myself trying to escape the commitments I hated by hurting myself for something worse. Love is divisive. Yet, love can also bring people together. A shared love for robotics introduced me to some of my best friends, and although there were some disappointments, like when we didn't make championships this year, there were far more moments of tenderness and triumph. May the Viterbi trophy case rest in pieces. Now that we're at the end of 12th grade, ready to open the next chapter of our lives, it's time for one final lesson about love. From F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby, to Stephen Satter's Spring Awakening, to Toni Morrison's Song of Solomon, we've all watched, seen, or heard about love's many incarnations. We've discussed it in English class, expressed and interpreted it in theater, and even explored its biological and psychological underpinnings in numerous science classes. In Mr. Mazacci's philosophy and literature class this year, it became evident to me that there's no one ontological basis for love, no singular epistemological way of knowing love, and no perfectly isolable axiological value that love possesses. So, in the words of both Hathaway and Mr. Ryan Griggs, what is love? The long and short of it is, that's what we get to decide now, class of 2022. As with all the other oxymoronic and idiosyncratic concepts out there, we can choose which prior aspects of love to keep and which to discard. We get to seize the existentialist's choice and define love for ourselves. It doesn't have to be something that dies. It doesn't have to be a privilege. Love can be messy and complicated and hard, but it doesn't have to be abusive, torturous, or discriminatory. We can look each other in the eyes right now and place love on an axis independent of ethnicity, nationality, creed, gender, or sexuality, and in so doing, free ourselves from the cage that love has become. Go out in love, class of 2022. Go be loved. You deserve it. Love, Simon.
Thank you, Simon. I'm pleased to introduce the member of the class of 2022 selected by their peers from an outstanding group of students who competed for the honor of speaking on behalf of the class. Please welcome our next speaker, Lucy Lockridge.
Hi, everyone. Before I begin, I want to extend a thank you to Dr. Yaley, Mr. Temple, and all of the maintenance staff that made today and every other event held this week on behalf of the senior class possible. Huge props. In second grade, we learned that a good story has a beginning, middle, and end. We learned that a good story has successes and failures, triumphs and frustrations, conflicts and resolutions. We learned that a good story has meaning. Now, I say this not because we all need a reminder of second grade English. I would hope at least those of us on stage don't, but because I want to tell you a story myself. It's a story of hard work, resilience, and lifelong friendship. It's the story of the 135 brilliant young adults sitting behind me today. And for many of us, this story started nearly 14 years ago. Those of you who remember the lower school will know that every day started the same. Our principal, Dr. Gillingham, stood outside the gate, and he shook every single one of our hands. We were practically toddlers, but still, he looked us in the eyes, he smiled, and he said good morning. We started each week with what was called flag raising. For 261 Mondays, we gathered in the school courtyard to read the Pledge of Allegiance and recite STRIVE, an acronym that became the mantra for our character and the promise of our good nature. For those of you who may be unfamiliar with STRIVE, I will repeat it for you now. And for those of you who do know it, please join me. Seek always to do your best, treat people and property with respect, revere the truth, invest in your future, value school rules, your heritage and personal responsibilities, enrich the world for all. Now, I recognize that not everyone here attended the lower school, recited STRIVE, or knew Dr. Gillingham. But what I do know is this: whether you've been here for 2 years or 12, these ideals continue to be the fabric for the class of 2022. This was the beginning of our story. Just this year, our senior class led 8 teams to CIF championship games. Yeah. 46 of us were involved in community service through the National Honor Society. 22 were members of the California Scholarship Federation. And these numbers are no accident, because we have always sought to do our best. We've built robots, published magazines, started organizations, painted murals, released original songs, so we've invested in our futures. And, surprisingly, we've even valued school rules, with a class of 2022 holding one of the cleanest records in Parker history. Though I know Dr. Patsko has a thing or two to say about our ability to stay in dress code. So today we stand together as adults, tried and seasoned. We've been fortified against a global pandemic. We have campaigned in a turbulent and divisive political climate. We fought our way through one of the most competitive years of college admission in history. So, our character has been put to the test, but each and every one of us proved ourselves dependable, trustworthy, and good. 3 weeks ago, I had the privilege of hearing Cecile Richards speak. A lifelong American activist and administrator, she reminded me of how there is strength in numbers and power in community. I can think of no community more powerful than the one sitting behind me. To bring this idea home, she read a poem by March Piercy called The Low Road. I'd like to read part of it for you today. Alone, you can fight, you can refuse, you can take what revenge you can, but they will roll over you. But 2 people fighting, back to back, can cut through a mob. A snake dancing file can break a cordon. An army can meet an army. 2 people can keep each other sane, can give support, conviction, love, massage, hope. 3 people are a delegation, a committee, a wedge. With 4, you can play bridge and start an organization. With 6, you can rent a whole house, eat pie for dinner with no seconds, and hold a fundraising party. A dozen make a demonstration. 100 fill a hall. 1,000 have solidarity. It goes on one at a time. It starts when you care to act. It starts when you do it again and they say no. It starts when you say we and know who you mean. So as Ms. Richards was reading this poem, I kept asking myself, so what can 135 people do? But the answer was right in front of me. Look at all we have done. Look at all we have accomplished. Writing this speech was a reminder that class of 2022, we are a force to be reckoned with. And though our next chapters won't necessarily look alike, whether we are 300 or 3,000 miles apart, we will always have a history that is unique to us and us alone. By this, we are bound for life. The last letter in STRIVE is E, and it stands for Enrich the World for All. Here is where our stories will deviate. Here is the letter we have yet to fulfill, the meaning we have yet to find. And I know this isn't a storybook fairy tale, because I am absolutely terrified. I'm terrified of the world we are about to walk into, terrified I won't find that meaning, terrified I'm too little to enrich the world for all. But though I may be terrified, I am also empowered. There is strength in our numbers, and class of 2022, I believe so much in that strength. So every good story has a beginning, middle, and end. It's time we write our own endings, so let's make them good. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucy. And now I would like to invite the senior class representatives, Rishi Chiniga and Hannah McNeil, to the podium to introduce our keynote speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Temple. It is an honor and privilege to introduce our commencement speaker, Mr. Landon Donovan. Landon is a former professional soccer player and currently holds the position of manager, co-founder, and vice president of soccer operation for the San Diego Loyals Soccer Club.
A former forward, Mr. Donovan holds numerous individual records in the Major Soccer League and for the United States national team. He is also regarded as one of the greatest U.S. men's soccer players of all time. After his retirement, Mr. Donovan continued his work with the sport by joining the ESPN broadcast team and Fox Sports. Let's give a warm Parker welcome to Mr. Landon Donovan.
Hello, everyone. I had the opportunity to play in front of millions of people on TV, tens of thousands in person, but somehow speaking in front of a few hundred makes you a lot more nervous, so I apologize in advance. First thing I noticed about all you guys is you're all really tall, and I don't know what you guys are feeding these kids, but I could have used some of it. I spent 20 minutes choosing this tie, and then I got here and had to wear a robe, so I do want to show it off. It's nothing special, but it took a long time, right, Shock? I will also say this is pretty emotional for me, even though none of you are my children. I have children now, and thinking about them graduating one day from high school is pretty special, so what a special moment. Quick shout out to the boys soccer team, you guys. Amani, who I know well, and Sal Zizza, who helped, so congrats to you guys. I want to start today with a story that's really resonates with me. It's a story of a Chinese farmer. If you know it, I apologize, but it's really special to me. So a Chinese farmer had a horse that helped him till the land and harvest his crops every year. It was his main source of income. And one day, the horse out of nowhere took off and ran off into the hills, thus leaving the farmer without a horse to help him. And all the people in the town ran over to him and said, oh my gosh, this is so bad. And he said, well, is it bad or is it good? Who knows? So a few days later, as he's working the field, he looks off into the distance and he sees his horse coming back. And next to it are 4 wild mares coming back with it. So now he has 5 horses to help him till the land, and he can, in essence, 5 times the money he can make. So all the people come running over from the town, and they say, "Oh my God, this is so good, this is so good." He says, "Well, is it good or is it bad? Who knows?" So the next day, his son, his 18-year-old son, is riding one of the wild mares that came back. Falls off the mare, breaks his arm. The people in the town come over and say, "Oh my God, that was so bad, that was so bad." He said, "Well, is it bad or was it good? Who knows?" A week later, the Chinese army comes into town, and they are going to war, and they're going to enlist every able-bodied young man to get drafted. So his son was spared. Now, was that good or was it bad? Who knows? So if you don't know anything about me, I grew up 2 hours northeast of here in Redlands, California. A good place to be from. Happy to be here now. I played soccer my whole life since I was 5 years old, and I just want to take a minute to recognize that certainly at that time, no soccer player would have ever been giving a commencement address. So I'm grateful for how it's gone in this country, in our sport. Yeah, we can clap for that. So in 2002 was my first World Cup in South Korea. I was 20 years old. We had a great World Cup. I scored 2 goals. At the end of the tournament, I was named the best young player of the World Cup, an honor that had never been bestowed on any American player. And needless to say, I was on top of the world. I thought I was pretty cool. I was now newfound rich, famous, everything you could want as a 20-year-old. Now, was that good or was it bad? So having that newfound fame went to my head, and I developed quite a powerful ego. 4 years later, in 2006, we played in the World Cup in Germany. Coming into it, people were now paying more attention to the World Cup because of what had happened in the preceding World Cup. I had a horrible tournament. Horrible. Worst 3 soccer games of my life. We didn't advance out of the group. And I came back to, amongst other critiques and headlines, one that said, "Donovan lets team and country down." And so I went into a pretty deep depression for about 2 weeks. And one morning I was laying in bed, and I was trying to figure out why that had impacted me so much and why I had played that way. And the only thing that really resonated was I was fearful. I didn't play the way I'd always played. And that I couldn't live with. If we have bad games, bad results, you lose in a final, you can live with that. But not playing the way I know how to play, I couldn't live with. So I made a vow right there that I would never play that way again. Now, was that World Cup bad or good? Who knows? 2010, we're in South Africa. We tie our first game, tie our second game. Oh, hey, what's up, Amani? I didn't see you back there. We tie our first game, tie our second game, and we go to our third game. Now, for those who don't know, soccer games are 90 minutes long, but there's something called added time for when people have injuries. There are yellow cards, goals, people dive around and roll around on the ground, etc. So we had 4 minutes of stoppage time. In the first or second minute of stoppage time, we had an attack. The ball bounced to my foot. I scored. Pandemonium. We all went crazy. I just realized you guys were probably too young to even know that, huh? You're all looking at me with blank faces. Okay. So it was a pretty powerful moment for myself, but for soccer in our country too. And on the back of what had happened in 2006, it was very meaningful for me. But was it good or was it bad? Who knows? So 2014, this was meant to be my last World Cup. I was 32 years old. I wasn't going to play in a World Cup at 36. And one day after practice in Stanford, I walked off the field, and the coach was standing there. There were 30 players invited to camp, and 23 were going to make the final roster. And he said, "Landon, sit down. I've decided I'm not taking you to the World Cup." And it devastated me. So I walked into the locker room, I walked into the stall, sat down against the wall and started crying. I had given my whole life, sacrificed so much, didn't graduate high school, didn't get to go to college, had sacrificed everything for this moment. And I was devastated. One teammate I had since I was 16 years old walked in and sat down next to me, put his arm around me, consoled me. His name was Kyle Beckerman, so he was also 32 years old. So I went home, again, about 2 weeks of real deep depression. I was in a really bad place. This game that had meant so much to me just ripped my heart. And I was, again, laying in bed one morning thinking about that moment, and then I thought, oh, wait, Kyle had never been to a World Cup. And he had found out in that moment that he was going to his first World Cup. But someone who had been to 3 World Cups, had never been left off a team, had always been the star and beloved, didn't go, but he had the compassion and the awareness in that moment to come put his arm around me. And so then I started thinking about myself, all the times I had made a team, and how many times did I go put my arm around someone who didn't? 0. So 2014, getting left home from the World Cup, I thought was bad. But that lesson was much more valuable than playing 3 more games in a World Cup, for sure. I will leave you all with this so Mrs. Gygax doesn't get mad at me for going too long. Some anecdotes from when I met with the Leadership Council that I thought were really important. One student said, high school was just frickin' hilarious. He used a different F word, but I didn't think it was appropriate here. And I'll leave his name out. He said, I asked them what made this school special. And every one of them at the same time said, the teachers. Every one of them. My grandma was a teacher. My mom taught special ed for 30 years. My twin sister teaches special ed, so that hit me pretty hard when they said that. So I just want to say thank you to all of you for what you do. Thank you. I asked them what their least favorite class was. I'm going to leave that one out too. Although I will say they said that person is no longer here. I asked them what their favorite class was, and they all said AP Gov. Last couple things. I asked them what else they love about the school, and they said the food is amazing. And one of them said, they even have real silverware. So I don't know what your parents are feeding you with at home, but I don't think silverware is that big of a deal, but congratulations. I don't think the top ramen in college is going to compete with that. Lastly, how many of you, just by show of hands, when COVID interrupted your junior year and you had to go to online schooling, how many of you thought that was pretty crappy and bad in the moment? Yeah, raise your hand. Was it bad or was it good? When I asked your leadership council about the interruption in COVID, they said, having COVID, in essence, cancel our junior year in person made us appreciate our senior year way more, and we enjoyed our senior year way more than we would have otherwise. So, I will leave you with, you have no idea what the world is going to present you, I can promise you. I would encourage you to have the awareness in bad moments to learn from it and think it might turn out good. And in good moments, to stay humble and know that you never know if it's going to be good or bad. Congrats, guys. And last thing, sorry, you can stay standing. It's good for my ego. Last thing, quick shout out to Taj. I think you're over there. Yeah. I've known Taj since he was like 10, 12. Yeah. And in the irony of all ironies, I have to leave. I'm going to a party for the kindergarten graduation of my son. So, thank you guys.
Thank you, Mr. Donovan, for your remarks. And now it is with the full authorization from the Francis Parker School Board of Trustees, chaired by Susan Lester, that we now have the honor of conferring a diploma to each member of the graduating class of 2022. Parker's College Counseling team is here with us today to read the names of the graduates. Our thanks go to Dean of College Counseling Bob Hurley and Directors of College Counseling Mr. Alain Durang, Mrs. Jasmine Taylor, and Mr. Julio Mata for all that they have done to guide our seniors as they look to begin the next chapter of their impressive stories.
Graduates, please step forward as we call your name. Remember to pause for the photographer after receiving your diploma. Group 1, please stand. Mary Elizabeth Allen. Rory Catherine Allen. Nadim Rayed Al Nasser. Jervy Justin Alota Jr. In recognition of the service, for their service to our school, trustees, former trustees, and faculty members who are parents of a graduate are invited to assist in presenting their student with their diploma. His mother, Parker's Middle School Dean of Students, Bernice Alota, and his father, Captain Jervy Alota, U.S. Navy. Hillary Beth Altes. Torrin Wise Anderson. Adam Cade Awad. Rachel Lee Aylesworth. Noor Iman Bagari. Ashvin Banga. Landon Clayton Bell. Emma Lauren Berman. Lucas Ezra Berniker. Rebecca Sarah Blanchard. Sean Lee Bonney. Autumn Reese Brandt. Oliver Simon Britton. Connor Riley Brokowski. Amanda Jane Bird. Avery Dandy Burns. Alexis Victoria Cady. Evan Elizabeth Kane. Alina Michelle Callahan. Group 1, you may be seated. Group 2, please stand. Andreas Cardenas Maroof. Francesco Bhagavan Solanki Carola. Elizabeth Sophia Sakeda. Isabella. Isha Ahmed Champsey. Rishi Reddy Chaniga. Max Miguel Cordoba. Alexandra Catherine Coyle McDonald. McKaylee Justine Doms.
Cade Allen Detloff. Amitha Devana Boyina. Jackson Doyle DeWitt. Lyle Augustin Diaz. His mother, Parker teacher Patty Diaz, and his father, Parker football coach Sergio Diaz. Scott Reynolds Druin. Benjamin Michael Efris. His father, former Parker trustee Richard Efris, and his mother, Jessica Efris. Gershon Ellis. Lauren Elena Espinosa. Nathaniel Gissa Falaka. Alexandria Camille Fennell. Group 2, you may be seated. Group 3, please stand. Tamsin Elizabeth Hardy.
Right at the bottom. You got the pen. There it is.
Theodore Pierce Fernan. Vincent Ferrari. Benjamin William Folks. Julia Galperin. Ethan Bradley Gary. Alexander Yukon G. Kai Cantwell German. Hayden Robert Ghosh. Alexandra Ray Graham Gibson. Taj Sebastian Gillen. His mother, former Parker trustee, Dr. Shaka Gillen, and his father, Scott Gillen. Quinn Anastasia Gerard. Isabella Marie Gergis. Daniela Saraí González. David Hunter Gray. His mother, the Dr. Robert Gillingham, head of lower school, Heather Gray, and his father, Peter Gray. Julian Alexander Guienta. Isabella Sophia Hawk. Nikolai Georg Halderson. George Thomas Hanley. Arya Prasad Hanumara. Mackenzie Ella Harris. Miles Patrick Herr. Chloe Minlaw Hooker. Caesar Owen Hoover Dharmalingam, his mother, Parker teacher Lawrence Dharmalingam Hoover, and his father, Samuel Hoover.
No, he wanted it, not me. Let's go.
Lucas Carmine Iavini. Group 3, you may be seated. Group 4, please stand.
Sierra Louise James. Nicolas Michael Jordan. Peter William Joslin. Chisato Kamakura. Bennett Gregory Kadrowski. Presley Joe Keskinen. Her father, Parker trustee Eric Keskinen. Ario Liam Karate. Jenna Jae-hee Kim. Her father, Parker trustee Ted Kim, and her mother, Kathy Kim. Khan Tancred Kurtai. Luke Lyon Krongard. Gabrielle Shane Leeming. Kaya Lee Guest. Isaac Jose Leyva. David Emmett Littman. Lucy Rose Lockridge. Allison Renee Lowe. Ty McDonald. Adrian Nicolo Marcelli. Camden Alexander McCormick. Hannah Isabel McNeil. Tino Mededovic. Group 4, you may be seated. Group 5, please stand up. Leah Marie Mohidan. Dominic Angelo Manafo III. Reese Christina Lucy Niels. Nevin Joseph Noonan. Cole Owen Buckles. Elena Oreen Joyce Pace. Kenan Ilgaz Pala. Zachary Benjamin Partnoy. Ayana Bijal Patel. Dhruv Shrenik Patravali. Isabella Catherine Patterson. Jack Lawrence Purdom. Chloe Rady.
Valeria Maria Ramos. Relia Lynn Reed. Cameron Fox Rice. Mark Evan Rifkin. Abigail Rose Reardon. Mia Yael Roslinski. Martin Hugh Rudolph. Hunter Ray Ryan. Simon Cutter Segal. Orion Armin Semikoglu. His mother, former trustee Aishi Benker, and his father, Shevdet Semikoglu.
Sorry, hold on.
Irk Sampat. Mick Glenn Sanborn. Alec Michael Sherris. Davis Elizabeth Sinat. Group 5, you may be seated. Group 6, please stand. Jefferson Eric Smith. Anna Day Sohn. Aiden Christopher Stazak. Hayden Ernest Steiner. Anissa Stone.
Yes, Anissa.
Ashley Marie Strauss. Dylan Diego Taylor. His mother, Parker alumna and teacher Gretchen Taylor, and his father, Parker teacher Eric Taylor. Samuel Simons Thompson. Adam Nicholas Tobin Williams. Patrick Lewis Truesdale. John Richard Valverde. Jonathan Vladimir Vardy. Helena Vargas. Her father, former Parker trustee, the Honorable Congressman Juan Vargas, and her mother, Adrienne Vargas. Tyler Jake Velasquez. Pratik Deepak Vyas. Jaina Wadwa. Sean Michael Walters. Amber Sani Watt. Margaret Jane Madsen Weller. Delaney Ann Wilson. Nabai Yanatan. Group 6, you may be seated.
What a beautiful ceremony. We will conclude with the turning of the tassel and a salute to our graduates. Will the members of the class of 2022 please rise? Traditionally, the turning of the tassel at commencement symbolizes a transition from candidate to graduate. Protocol dictates that the tassel be worn on the right side of the mortarboard at the start of the ceremony, then turn to the left side. Graduates, you may turn your tassels. On behalf of the Francis Parker School Board of Trustees, it is now my honor and privilege to present to you the graduates of the class of 2022. Congratulations to you all. Family members and friends, now on behalf of the leadership, faculty, and staff of Francis Parker School, I thank you for your presence here today as we celebrate this milestone in the lives of these remarkable young people. Please remain seated or standing until the last graduates have exited the ceremony. If you would like to take a family portrait, our photographers are ready for you in the classrooms near the Rose Art Gallery, right over there. Trustees and faculty, please rise to begin the recessional.
percussionists, please, of course, everything back up. Leave the chairs and the microphones. Great job, everybody. Thank you so much. It went amazingly well. Thank you.
Astounding.